morning. I'm going to change directions today. My favorite time of the year is coming up. Motorcycle season, fishing season, which we're going to touch on today. So I have I call it luck, because I don't care how good of a fisherman you are. If there's a lake that has a lot of fishing pressure on it, you're not going to catch fish on it. So it's all luck. I don't care. Pro fishermen have gone to lakes and still have had problems with high fishing pressure. So it's all luck. And I've been extremely lucky in my fishing life. I started fishing when I was super duper young. Dad would take me out on the boat and we'd go to Yellowstone Lake in Wisconsin and fish for bluegills. I think that's where it starts for everyone, is bluegill. And then as my adult life progressed, I got more into bass fishing, and that's where I thrive. I'm extremely lucky. I won't say good, I'm going to say lucky. I'm extremely lucky, and I do really well. And for those of you who don't already follow me, Chubby Guy Customs on Instagram, Hillbilly Outdoors 2 on Instagram, and you will see how lucky I am. I've caught some nice northern bass fishing, a lot of nice bass, largemouth and smallmouth. So, how do I do it? I'm going to tell you, because I don't care. I'm not one of them uptight fishermen. I'll take anybody to my spots. I will show anybody my spots, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy what I enjoy. That feeling you get when you hook a nice fish. And I'm not talking about your 1.5 pound, 2 pound bass you catch out at Rock Cut. I'm talking 5, 6 pound largemouth, 3, 4, 5 pound smallmouth, because they fight like a 20 pound fish. Smallies are awesome. So number one, chatterbaits. That is where it's at. The old chatter donk, right? Okay. So you want to obviously match the hatch, or if you're fishing in murky waters, and there's big debate about this, that if you're fishing in murky waters, you want to go bright colors. If you're fishing in murky waters, you want to go dark colors. And for me, I've had good luck with both, but it all depends. So in November, I went down to Kentucky and visited my in-laws, and I got to fish Green River Lake. It was stained, it was pretty dark, and I had a perch chatterbait with a natural craw trailer on. So it was like a brownish, greenish color. I don't remember exactly which one it was at this very point in time, but and I did really well. I caught a couple really nice bass. I caught about a 2 pounder, a 3 pounder, and I caught a nice 5 pound largemouth on the old chatter donk. Now, chatterbaits are my usual go-to for certain lakes. Lake Geneva in Wisconsin in Walworth County, let me tell you, I absolutely murder it with my uncle. We go almost every Sunday in the summertime. We get out on the water super duper early. And when I say early, I mean we're on the water by like 3 o'clock in the morning. And then we're off by like 9, because we've either A, hit our limit of 5 apiece, or it's when all the idiots come out with all the power boats and skis and jet skis, and you're fishing 20 feet offshore, and they want to go ahead and take their boat or jet ski right between you and the shoreline. I've lost numerous lures by casting them at other boats for wanting to be stupid, and then losing the lure because obviously I had to cut the line because it got stuck somewhere, or got whatever. Anyways, Carolina rig, Lake Geneva. So, and it depends on what time of the year you go as to how big a leader you want to put on it. So for me, I usually start out with 18 to 20 inch leader in the springtime, because obviously the weeds on the bottom of the lake aren't, super duper tall. So I usually use about an 18 to 20 inch leader, and there's big debate about this too, oh, you got to use a fluorocarbon leader. No, you don't. I use braid on all my poles, and very rarely will I set up with a fluorocarbon leader, only for the simple fact that I've lost so many fish. Using that not mono, but just that clear nylon line. I am a huge braid fan. I swear by Spiderwire. Love the stuff. I'm not endorsed by Spiderwire. They're not paying me to say that. That's my go-to. I've had extremely good luck, and that's the way I want to keep it. So, Carolina rig, and I use pumpkin seed worm, power baits, pumpkin seed, curly tail, 6-inch, and weight doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, if you've got a good rod and reel, I mean, you should be able to know how to cast it. But if you really want to make some nice long casts, then obviously go a little bit heavier weight. But to me, I've never had any, there's no weight specs that you have to go by for me, you know. And I'm not a professional angler by any means, and this isn't you know, fact checked. This is just what's worked for me, so go based off that. So, you know, and then as the summer progresses for the Carolina rig, you know, your leader is going to want to, you're going to start wanting to make that leader a little bit longer because the weeds are getting a little bit longer. Cast that some gun out as far as you can. Let it sink to the bottom. Bump it through them weeds. Bump it through them weeds. Get that worm to go up on top of them weeds and flutter back down. A lot of times rock bass will sit and beat the crap out of the tail, and you'll feel a thump, 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 thump. Let them have it. Just let them play with it for a minute, because not always is it a rock bass. Sometimes it's a nice largemouth, and they're just testing the waters, or testing the worm, so to speak. And that right there, just let them have it for a minute, you know. And if they decide to pick it up and run with it, so be it. You'll know. I usually keep my drag pretty loose, so in the event that that does happen, they can pick it up and start walking away with it, and don't feel the weight of the line on the pole. And then once, you know, I feel that bite, or you'll get that one largemouth bass that'll just come on by and suck that good thing in, that worm in, and you'll feel that thump right on the end of the line. And when you feel that thump, you've got them. I wouldn't even waste any time. Set the hook, set your drag, just go to town. Don't do it in that order. I realized that after I said it. Set your drag, set your hook. Too many times I forget to set the drag and off goes the fish because he felt the, you know, the whole setting the hook. Anyway, so Carolina rigs is where it's at. Let me tell you right now. That is the go-to on Lake Geneva. Now in the spring, or in the fall rather, excuse me, in the fall time, when water starts cooling off, dog days of summer, you know, like August, September-ish. This definitely works in October and November. I'll go and I'll tie off on a dock somewhere, and I'll catch a bunch of little 6-7 inch long fingerling perch, and I will put them on the end of that Carolina rig, and I will just toss. I'll find my spot in the flats or in Cisco Bay in Lake Geneva, and I will drop anchor, and I will just toss a couple out on a pole and just wait. Last year, November, nice northern. Now I don't keep northern. I mean, I suppose if I hooked, you know, a nice, you know, 48, 50 inch, I'd probably keep northern or musky. I'd probably keep it mounted. But it was, I don't remember what exactly. I think it was right around like 30, 38, maybe 40 inch northern. Real nice northern. Picked up my perch and just started walking away with it. Wasn't even fast about it. Wasn't aggressive. All of a sudden, I just see my line going the opposite way than what we were set up for. And I'm like, interesting. So I let him have it. I opened the bail and just let him run with it for a little while. Let him digest it. So that way I get a good hook set. Not digest, but make sure it was in his mouth good, right? So, yeah. So anyways, I ended up with a really nice northern. There's pictures of it on the Instagram. I'm wearing a blaze yellow or blaze orange jacket. That's the northern I'm speaking of. There's lots of techniques you can use with the Carolina rig. I go for just a slow retrieve. I cast out and just start bumping it back through the weeds and just giving it a little bump every once in a while, reel in the slack, give it a little bump, reel in the slack. And that seems to be what works for me. Now, drop shotting works really well. You want to go deep. You want to go 40 feet deep in the water. You set up a drop shot rig. You know, there's lots of nice plastics out there for that. Texas rigging, had really good luck with that. Swim baits, had really good luck with that. You know, it's all about matching the hatch is what's number one thing that's important, and presentation. You know, you see shad or a school of minnows, or whatever the case is, you know, when you're out in the boat and you see them swimming around, keep that in mind. You know, you watch them for a minute. You know, just I would never say put your pole down, because that's how you lose an expensive rod and reel, if you get a fish and you're not paying attention to it. But you know, just kind of don't focus on the rod and reel for a minute, and focus on that school of bait fish. Call them bait fish for a better term here. No matter what it is, right? So, and just kind of watch their erratic movement, and then when you're casting and retrieving, that's what you want to go for. You know, it's all about presentation, matching the hatch, and in the summertime, fish are active, the water's warmer, you're going to want a more fast, aggressive retrieve as compared into the wintertime, where fish are, the water's colder, they're more lethargic. You know, smaller is better in the winter. Slow retrieve in the winter, or colder months for that matter. But yeah, 11 minutes. I'm going to tap out on this one. I could talk for days on fishing. Bass fishing with Carolina rigs, chatterbaits, that's where it's at. Let me tell you right now. Rock Cut in McChesney Park. Huge fishing pressure. Really hard to catch fish there. Last summer, one trip, I killed 4 largemouth bass on the chatterdonk. Color was a white chatterbait and a blue craw trailer, and it worked. It was phenomenal. It's the best luck I've had at Lake Geneva since I was a kid with my old man. But now I'm coming up on 12 minutes. Now I'm really tapping out on this video. Have a great day, guys.